is the key stakeholder in any decision making, especially when it comes to reviewing policies that was passed by this parliament. So once more, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you and I want to assure you of our total commitment in making this happen. So, Mr. Leader of Government Business, if you gave me an opportunity to say one or two before you, this is what I have to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I said, I want to borrow some of the words from you that there are categories that we need to take into consideration seriously as a state, because we cannot go back trying to undo things not the appropriate way. So there are three interest areas that I want to draw the attention of my colleagues. As said by my honorable colleague on the other side, honorable leader of the opposition. Into consideration, we have to look at the state. Into consideration, we have to look at the people. Into consideration, we have to look at the investors. We have an existing agreement and a sovereign agreement too. We cannot just put it under the table. But as a nation, we have to pay attention to the three categories I've stated. And Mr. Speaker said, we are only here because of our people. And we can only progress as a state to talk about very good economy if we encourage the investors and the state to carry out the policies. So, Mr. Minister, we want one other category of the state. We want to say thank you for considering us to bring your agreement for us to review. But, Mr. Speaker, in as much as you have put them in abeyance, that is the Speaker's ruling, which cannot be challenged in the chamber. I want to entreat my colleagues in going back to the Constitution why we do ratify these documents. Section 40, subsection 4, Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I just want to read that paragraph. It's long, but I will just read a section of it. If you have a Constitution, take a look. Provided that that is below the category they have stated, the last paragraph under section 44. Provided that any treaty, agreement, or convention executed by or under the authority of the President, which relates to any matter within the legislative competency of Parliament, or which in any way alters the law of Sierra Leone, or imposes any charge on or authorities any expenditure out of the consolidated fund or any other fund of the Sierra Leone, and any declaration of war made by the President shall be subject to the ratification by Parliament, by an act of Parliament, or two, by a resolution supported by the vote of not less than 1/2 of the members of Parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, there are so much authority given to Parliament. We are not trying to exacerbate our authority. We are trying to work within the authority given to Parliament. And we are also not trying to misuse the authority. As I said, the rule is final. So, we seek to ratify these documents comes to Parliament because of this provision in the Constitution. We want the public to note that. So, we are happy to take a cue from you. What Honorable Abukabu said, any alteration must come to Parliament for ratification. And already, in the wisdom of the minister, something has been altered. The charge that was levied in 10, Article 10, Mr. Minister, right? That's talking about the different categories. They have agreed to alter them. As he said, Mr. Speaker, you want to say thanks to the minister for thinking in a positive direction, in the trajectory that all of us must be on the same page in the interest of the state. That is where we have decided to take these moves. There are so many allegations, Mr. Speaker. We prove some of them that are not true when we are at the committee stage, and when we are in the stakeholder meeting. Some we are not actually followed by the dictates of the agreement. We ignore, Mr. Minister, some of the text of our obligations expressly stated in the agreement. But I want to say thank you for you drawing our attention to the agreement when you are making your presentation. I also want to draw the attention of colleagues, those who are not there, at the Transport Union. We are very concerned about Group 5, which are presented to Mr. Speaker for publication, to the general public to make their comments. That's why I instructed you. Concern from also the civil society. And in fact, colleagues, if your paper you have in front of you, the government was key from cabinet conclusion and from cabinet proposals. There must be awareness to talk to our people about this new increment involving civil society and other major players. I think we are in the same trajectory to make sure that we have a proper debate or proper ratification followed by the dictates of what we have ratified in 2015. The SIR area is so open up to talk about transparency of the data, which we acknowledge. And Mr. Minister took note of that. All of us, as I said in previous debates, there is no perfect agreement. And Mr. Speaker said, we cannot ignore the ratified agreement. In front of Parliament since 2015. Government is continuity. We should act responsibly and move in a direction that will bring all grievances on the table and we'll discuss them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for referring this issue to the Works Committee. Because of these allegations, these are talking about now, these ones we have now, all the charges, because of these enormous allegations, as the chairman of the supervisory committee, which our mandate to make sure committee functions the best way they can. We again call on we instruct with your leave, Mr. Speaker, the Works Committee to look into some of these allegations, to look into them so that Parliament can have a proper view of what is happening. To do a special investigation on this agreement dealing with the toll gates, so we can just inform the public that this is the right thing to do. Mr. Speaker, I will not stop admiring members of Parliament from the 5th to the 6th in we chatting out our differences to come to consensus to have a proposal that the people appreciate us. I will not stop admiring you with the pressure we put on you always. Sometimes when I was in the office and we laughed over it. I see what you're going through from colleagues. It's not an easy job. Somebody said, SO2 is a speaker definition of youth person based on your activities. It means by inference, conclusion that the youth man will get a speaker. The parliament is bad. I'm not talking about couples of activities. I'm talking about rare activities in the parliament. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend you and say thank you very much for this wise decision you have taken. And taking it from your comfort zone. I went with you in the committee room 1. The environment was not that conducive enough because the temperature was high. I want to say thank you, Mr. Minister, for showing understanding and also the public. I want to salute you. Colleagues, can we just have a table for the drivers and the public for their understanding? In this business, I don't want people to go outside and talk about an APC, SFP business. I don't want people to talk about that. We can go after you as Parliament. I said we have enormous power, but we don't misuse our power. And we don't intend to use them excessively. We want to be a moderate Parliament, as a progressive Parliament. The Parliament chiefs have been observing us quietly. One of them told me, SO2, Newman, when I take one time, when I discuss this thing to myself, when I let them talk on social media. Parliament chiefs, you are the arbiter of what we do here. I want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much. When you speak the words from our ancestors. When you speak for our people who we don't see, but you see them always. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord continue to be with us. Thank you, all my colleagues, those who have been posting on social media their passion in those. I think we have come to a doorstep where today Mr. Speaker has given his ruling, and Mr. Minister has also been with us to show understanding. Mr. Minister, reach out to the investors. The agreement is an agreement. It is an agreement. We are not throwing it on the table, but we don't want to live with it. With the interest of all of us, I will end the state, the people, and the investors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May the Lord bless you.
I thank both the leader of the opposition and the leader of government business for their statement. Any announcements? Mr. Minister, you are now at liberty to leave the chair, but not to leave the precincts of Parliament without seeing me.
Please listen to the following announcement. The Office of the Clerk of Parliament wishes to inform all honorable members and the general public that there will be a pre-legislative hearing on the bill entitled The Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Financing of Terrorism and Financing the Proliferation of Weapons of Mass Destruction Act 2023 on Monday, 4th March 2024 at 11 a.m. Committee Room 1 building, Parliament building. Members of Parliament are all encouraged to attend and attend. Thank you.
With that, the House stands adjourned to
give him the microphone.
Mr. Speaker, I want to rise on SO 23. There's a big hole there. I actually went into the hole. That hole has been on that road for months now. And Mr. Speaker, again, as we are talking about the Ministry of Works, but this is, I believe, the responsibility of the Roads Authority. We want the Sierra Leone Roads Authority to pay attention to that hole. It's been there for months. And that accident actually caused tremendous damage to my vehicle. And I'm sure a lot of motorists are complaining about that hole. And lives are at stake. So we want the SLRE to find a way to cover that hole, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Thank you very much.
well, your SO 23 could not have come at a more appropriate time. Especially in the sense of the ministry. So with that, honorable members, the House stands adjourned to Thursday the 7th.